They're making demands, and whether you like it or not, whether you like the content or not, the content is still making money. This is not about like extra money that is going to come from like somewhere else that is going to materialize. This is money that is going back to the shareholders in the form of profits. All right, let's get to the top news story of the day. That's right. The Writers Guild of America West has officially called a strike.
That breaking news from Hollywood, entertainment writers now on strike. What that means is production is halted on many of your favorite shows as Writers Guild members push for better pay on streaming shows and better working conditions. It's an action taken by more than 11,000 writers all across the country. And the last time this happened, back in 2007, Hollywood lost more than $2 billion. Elise Preston has the latest now from Sony Pictures Studios in Los Angeles. Elise, they say this is the strike that streaming brought. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Tony. Picket lines will form on outside of studios on both coasts later this afternoon. Shows and production will come to a halt. You mentioned that last strike was 15 years ago. It lasted more than 3 months. Insiders warn appointment TV viewing could be delayed even longer.
Oh, no.
Writers might have to do something totally against their nature. Go outside.
Stephen Colbert is one of several late-night hosts whose shows could go dark tonight, as more than 11,000 Hollywood writers prepare to stop working today and start picketing.
I am genuinely concerned.
At the forefront of the strike, says the union, are dwindling earnings for writers in the age of streaming.
Admiral on the bridge.
While companies like Amazon, Disney, Netflix, and our parent company Paramount have flourished,
the writers, in a nutshell, feel that the streaming revolution has really left them behind.
Matthew Bellany is a Hollywood insider and founding partner of Puck.News.
They don't get as much money when shows play on streaming services than they did when shows are played on traditional linear television.
Roughly 85% of households are subscribed to at least one streaming service, but the writers claim they aren't sharing in that success. And with shows producing fewer episodes each season, writers receive less pay.
It's complicated.
The WGA says almost half of its TV writers work at the minimum salary, up from 33% from a decade ago. But studio producers say their budgets are already maxed out. Last time writers took to the picket line was 2000.
I wonder why they're maxed out. Of course, the budgets are always maxed out. They're never not maxed out. That's how budgets work, okay, under capitalism. Yeah, you're supposed to go to the profit margins now and give a larger percentage of the profits to the writers themselves. That's the problem. You can say, oh, man, sorry, we're fucking maxed out all day, every day. But of course, no matter what happens, like, it's quite literally because you just don't want to shave away any of the piece of the profits. Why does streaming affect writers like this? Doesn't Netflix still need writers? Guys, streamers are one other avenue of distribution that popped the fuck off in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years, okay? And as is the case with any other vertical, what ends up happening is the companies, especially with like higher levels of consolidation, because the streamers themselves also own the IP, usually, which is like built-in consolidation, corporate consolidation. They have shittier contracts there. A lot of the reason why these guys are picketing right now is because they want similar contracts that they have with respect to residuals and with respect to like how you make money as a writer off of these shows on television. They want that to also be implemented in the streamer side. Okay? Aren't they talking about streaming services, not streamers? Yes, in the real world and not in our little corner of the universe, our little tiny corner sliver of the universe, okay? You don't know what you're talking about? You're so right. People call streaming platforms streamers, okay? I know that we have a little tiny sliver of the of the content space, and we think that that is like literally everything. But no one other than, you know, the YouTube, Twitch influencer side of the world calls streaming platforms streamers. I mean, only we call streamers. Everywhere else, you usually call streaming platforms streamers. Anyway. Jimmy, you fucking fake. He wasn't even at the meeting this morning to tell us we won't get paid after this week. Jimmy Fallon, please support your staff. Had fun bowling with you last week, but a fun party won't pay my rent.
If there is a strike, do you go dark?
If there's I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for my writers, and I support them all the way. They got to have a fair contract, and they got a lot of stuff to iron out, and hopefully they get it done.
If there is a strike, do you go dark?
If there's a strike, yeah, I think we will, yeah.
Dude, when you got Jimmy motherfucking Fallon like shittily expressing solidarity, God, it's so awesome to see. I don't give a fuck that like the Writers Guild is like one of the best good old boys clubs, like some chatter was saying, since the Teamsters or whatever. You got my man quaking and shaking, okay? That's Jimmy Fallon. That is literally the closest you can get to an AI bot that was perfectly designed by TV executives, okay? That is literally a robot short-circuiting when asked the question at the fucking Met Gala about organized labor and is he going to express solidarity with organized labor, and he is forced to be like, ha ha, yeah. Come on now.
Yeah, I think we'll go dark. Whatever I can do to support the guild. I am actually in the Writers Guild as well. So, yeah, I couldn't do the show without them, and I support my whole staff.
So the problem apparently is that he wasn't supporting his staff in the real world, it seems, but you know, we'll see. It could just be, I don't know, it could be like a misunderstanding. But my point is this, okay? I don't give a fuck about the staffer saying that Jimmy Fallon is fake or phony. I know Jimmy Fallon is fake and phony. Jimmy Fallon is a robot, okay? But as a member of the Writers Guild, he is, you know, no matter how much money he's going to lose here, he's still going, you know, fuck it, YOLO. We're doing it. It's a strike, baby. And you got to understand that that is how it's supposed to be done. That's how it works. It's great. Anyway, don't pay attention to Kaya, or don't make me pay attention to her. I'm not going to pet a dog that is misbehaving. That is literally the reason why some of you dumb motherfuckers have the most annoying chihuahuas who do shit. Okay? Who just like fucking bite children and misbehave nonstop. Shut the fuck up. Remember when James Corden went to a Writers Guild meeting to advocate for lower pay? What the fuck? No, he didn't. Most of the concrete accusation against him also is one that he inadvertently confirmed on Twitter while trying to defend himself. The accusation revolves around a 2019 incident where Corden reportedly showed up at a Writers Guild of America meeting with his executive producer, but none of his writers, to advocate for a new writers program that would allow his show to hire writers who had interned for a year on the show at a wage lower than the mandated minimum set by the Guild. The accusation came from a late-night writer who had attended the meeting. Tweeting from the handle Jack Allison Lol, he wrote, "I'd like to state once again for the record that I went to a WGA meeting for only late-night writers, and James Corden showed up without any of his staffers to advocate for a lower pay grade for his late-night writers." Replying to the accusation, Corden tried to frame the incident in a more positive light, tweeting that he would never, ever want to pay writers less than they deserve. Never. I love every writer on my show, and all I ever wanted from that meeting was to explore whether talented people could get a better opportunity. However, Jack Allison immediately scuttled Corden's out of the kindness of his heart argument by saying, "James, you showed up to a guild meeting as an employer flanked by your executive producer to advocate for the show's interest to pay writers less. If you want to give talented young writers a shot, you can pay them the guild minimum that was negotiated in the NBA." The NBA tweet is referred to a minimum basic agreement that had happened, a collective bargaining agreement that covered the benefits, rights, and protections for most of the work done by WGA members. Corden was not able to answer this tweet, in essence confirming that he was trying to take advantage of the new writers who were the lowest on the totem pole and could be exploited. I can't find it anywhere online, but I can understand that the workers are united, but are the networks united too? Can a network agree to the new terms and fuck all the other networks? Wait, what? No, because then they'll get striked again. No, they can't violate the terms of their contracts, because if they do, like, the reason why they are agreeing to that contract is not because of the kindness of their hearts. The reason why they agree to a minimum basic agreement is because a strike happened. A strike happened, and it cost them $2 billion collectively. Okay? Like, technically, they are united, but they are united as the AMPTP, right? Except the AMPTP together get together and basically say, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna follow through on some of the demands that you made. Melky says raid, baby. Melky, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Would you rather have guild minimum pay / conditions or a dinner with James Corden? It's like one of those. It's like one of those things where it's like, I know that's the Jay-Z tweet, but with at least Jay-Z is interesting, right? And cool. And I don't know, like that could be a weird, an interesting dinner to have. James Corden offers none of those things that Jay-Z offers. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. If you want to know where the picket schedules are and where the locations are, the WGA East location, Netflix Manhattan headquarters. This is for the WGA East. Here are the West ones. They're going to do one at Amazon Monday through Friday, 9336 Washington Boulevard, Culver City. At Tuesday, today's is happening from 1 to 5 p.m. Wednesday is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. They're happening everywhere all around at these times that I just gave you. They're either happening at Amazon, they're happening at CBS Radford, they're happening at CBS TV City, they're happening at Disney, they're happening at Fox, they're happening at Netflix, Paramount, Sony, Universal, Warner Bros. So there's plenty of strikes happening. And plenty of strikes that WGA East and WGA West is putting together. I myself will be attending one of these as well. An underrated part of our current media company dynamic that's led to the strike is how miserable the executives within these companies are. They hate this new system as much as we do. The plural of anecdote is not data, but the advantage of being in the business 25 years is that I have executive friends who have risen through their ranks. They have lunches, and I sit there and listen. Each one explains the unbelievable dysfunction at their particular workplace, the bosses who don't understand or even like scripted entertainment, the open scorn which they hold the execs who've actually made television. A friend of one streamer says, I just called and canceled a show that by any metric had great numbers, and I literally can't tell you why. Multiple executives over the last 2 years have told them they're not actually sure who their direct bosses is. Because of the constant pointless restructuring, they know releasing a staff that was too small to begin with at the end of 10 weeks and having one writer prep, shoot, and post every episode during a season is a bad way to make television. They know it. They say it. But in an ironic twist of fate, they can't do anything about it because they're not unionized, and they may be among the thousands of layoffs made not for any real purpose, but to play accounting games so their bosses can eke out yet another quarter of growth. That is ironic. But part of it is literally due to the corporate structure of Silicon Valley backed streamers. The writers don't want the strike, but a lot of other Hollywood workers see it as the first step in reversing calamitous pattern that's coming to lay for themselves. Directors, actors, or even our exec frenemies. I'm not going to get more specific because a remarkable number of my lunches and dinners start with, I'd get fired for saying this, but we know you're out there. And I say this with love. That's a good note. We'll look at it in the blues. It's capitalism, baby. Line gotta fucking go up. You don't understand. Line gotta fucking keep going up. And sometimes the line go up in mysterious ways, especially in the stock market. And if your company is beholden to financial wheeling and dealing in a way that like even traditional studios were not prior to this streamer apocalypse, then, you know, then you throw in another layer of uncertainty. online. Here's friend of the show, Adam Connover, who is going to be coming on the broadcast probably on Thursday. Speaking to CNN. CNN guest blast CNN owner's salary during on-air WGA chat. Let's take a look.
That run this industry that say, look, times are changing. We are not making as much money as we once did. This is not the golden era of television, although some of us would argue the shows are great. What do you say to them?
So I'd point out the fact that David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, which is, the parent company of the network I'm talking to you on right now, was paid $250 million last year, $250 million. That's about the same level as what 10,000 writers are asking him to pay all of us collectively, all right? So I would say if you're being paid $250 million, Ted Sarandos made about $50 million last year. These companies are making enormous amounts of money. Their profits are going up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Talk to me when the CEO pay gets cut, because that's when shit is actually devastating, okay? If the CEO pays keep going up, that means the company's doing well. So why the fuck? If the company's doing well, why the fuck are the workers not being paid fairly? You know what I mean? Profits are up. Everybody's fucking raking it in. We don't know where it goes. It goes back into the market.
Ridiculous for them to plead poverty when the writers who are making their shows, some of them are not able to pay their rent or their mortgages. I literally know writers who have had to go on assistance because they have not been able to make their year. If you look at these companies, they're making more money than ever. It's the people who make the shows for them that are making less.
Adam Connover, thank you so much for coming on. Because you ruined everything. You may have just ruined my career, but I don't mind.
Anyway, fun stuff. Adam ruins everything, including the careers of the shows that he goes on. Well, he can't ruin mine. So 6%, 5%, minus 5% for all minimums, including residual bases. Their counters were 4%, 3%, minus 2%, one-time increase in most residual bases. Streaming features with a budget of $12 million or more receive full theatrical terms, including better initial compensation. Made for HBS VOD programs, 96 plus minutes with a budget for $40 million or more receive a 9% increase to initial compensation. No improvement in residuals. Guaranteed second step. Require a second step if hired for a screenplay for less than 250% of minimum. They rejected that part of the proposal, countered by offering meetings to educate creative executives and producers about screenwriters' free work concerns. Weekly pay, 50% pay upon commencement, and the remaining 50% to be paid out weekly over the writing period. Applies if the writer is paid less than 250% of the minimum. Writers above this threshold have the right to opt into weekly pay. They rejected that, didn't even make a counter. Established minimums for streaming. Extend television Appendix A terms to high-budget shows made for SVOD, including weekly minimums, 13-week guarantees, and residuals based on aggregate. Appendix A, weeklies apply only to high-budget comedy/variety programs made for SVOD. Budget break is $700,000 for a 30-minute show, $1.15 million for a 60-minute show. No aggregate for or 13-week guarantees would apply, and writers can be employed on a daily rate basis. Are union lawyers comparable to corporate lawyers? Like, will the writers get fucked regardless, or will this not go to court? Wait, what do you mean? I mean, the writers are currently fucked because they're on strike, but I don't really know what you mean by that. What do you mean? No, union, like labor lawyers are different. These are the guys that AMTP is talking to are the Writers Guild, the Writers Guild leadership that is democratically organized to. They're democratically organized to make these contract bargaining agreements and set the terms. They set these terms after listening to the demands of the rank and file within the union. Sometimes they even vote for certain terms. And then once the contract is sent over to the AMPTP, which is, whatever, the owner side, right? In this circumstance, is the AMPTP, but it's identical in every single other process with the exception of like public, industries and union workers that work in like certain public sectors that have a necessity for survival. But you go to the workers' side, or the workers get together, they decide the terms of the contract, they say, these are our demands. Then the AMPTP, or the owner side, looks at those terms and says, we like this, we'll concede to this, here's what we won't concede to, and then they send it back. At that point, WGA has an opportunity, the leadership has an opportunity to say, okay, we will concede on your, we will concede basically, and this is a good contract. So what happens after that? Because it doesn't end there. What happens after that? Democracy Now! On the strike with an interview. First of all, virtual meal. This is the Associated Press. Anyway, I just fucking hate the new YouTube terms, but let's finish this off and then...
If it happens, it will be necessary.
Actually, you know what? I don't want to watch this. Let's finish this off with the
15
Democracy Now!
years,
Interview.
Over 11,000.
And then after that, we'll get to the Aiden Ross drama.
Hollywood, TV, and movie writers have gone on strike. The strike began at midnight Pacific time over contract and after contract negotiations failed. In a statement, the Writers Guild of America said writers are facing a, quote, existential crisis, in part because pay and working conditions have deteriorated in recent years due to the rise of streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime. The union said, quote, the company's behavior has created a gig economy inside a union workforce, and their immovable stance in this negotiation has betrayed a commitment to further devaluing the profession of writing, unquote. The strike is expected to halt Hollywood productions and force late-night TV shows to go dark. They'll run tape. On Monday, Jimmy Fallon, the host of The Tonight Show, voiced support for his writers ahead of the start of the strike.
I support my writers, but we have a lot of staff and crew that will be affected by this, but they got to get a fair deal. So, yeah, I'll do whatever I can to support them, and hopefully there is no strike and they can figure out a deal.
I hope not either.
Yeah, I need my writers. I need them real bad.
You need your right.
Yeah, I got no show without my writers.
That was Jimmy Fallon at the Met Gala, where Quinta Brunson also spoke. She's the creator of the award-winning ABC hit comedy, Abbott Elementary.
I'm a member of WGA and support WGA and, them getting what us getting what we need. So I hope that no one wants to strike, but I hope that we're able to rectify this, whatever that means.
That was Quinta Brunson, creator of the award-winning ABC hit comedy Abbott Elementary. We're joined now by Brittany Nichols, writer on Abbott Elementary, who's now on strike, a Los Angeles-based captain for Writers Guild of America's WET. Brittany Nichols, welcome to Democracy Now! The strike is just hours old at this point. Also, congratulations on Abbott Elementary. What an amazing, fantastic show about the Philadelphia school.
Okay, when you say, you know what, TV and movies have been shit lately, so maybe they need a reality check. Brother, are you fucking stupid? It's like saying, well, the Lakers are not playing up to, Lakers are not a good example right now. You know what, the Grizzlies are not playing well enough. They need a reality check. They should get paid less. Is an idiotic assessment, because it's not just the fucking Grizzlies that are getting paid less. The Lakers are getting paid less too. And not only that, but also, it's not about, they are making demands, okay? They're making demands, and whether you like it or not, whether you like the content or not, the content is still making money. This is not about, extra money that is going to come from, somewhere else that is going to materialize. This is money that is going back to the fucking shareholders in the form of profits, okay? Stop saying ni hao and Dylan Brooks is going to China, okay? Shut the fuck up. That has nothing to do with anything. Do you understand? Because whether you like it or not doesn't change the reality that, a lot of people clearly do, and it makes money. Please understand that. There's plenty of fucking dog shit TV shows that I do not watch, okay? Like the NBA, as a matter of fact, which is scripted television. Everybody knows this. This year, they're scripting a LeBron victory, so it's fine.
Schools and the amazing teachers and the kids inside. But I wanted to ask you, starting with what's happening right now and what you're demanding as you go to the picket lines.
We are demanding that this industry be one that can sustain a career. It's sort of as simple as that. We have a consistently profitable business, but right now the actions of the studios are ones that seem like they only care about Wall Street. They're chasing a rabbit they're never going to catch, and in that pursuit, they're running over the workers of this industry.
So explain exactly how it works. You know, people watch these TV shows and movies nonstop, but really have very little idea of what goes into making them and why exactly streaming has, well, you talk about creating a gig economy. Explain what you mean.
So the studios have devalued our contributions. They have shifted the industry to prioritize streaming while not following that up with the actions of making sure that our pay reflects those changes. A lot of the ways that writers are able to sustain a career are through residuals. That means that we're taking part in that profit participation when a show gets re-aired or a show gets sold or a movie gets aired. That's when we get a little bit of that pie, and the amount of the pie that we're getting in streaming is almost non-existent.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. That's it. That's it. People are like, oh, well, these fucking poor streamers, they're not making enough money. No, that's bullshit. What do you mean? TV didn't want to do that either. They used the same arguments back then. And guess what? Strikes happened and things changed. It's literally just about a percentage of the profits that they want returned back to them. Profits that they are generating. The entire point of a fucking writer's strike or any kind of industry-wide strike is to show the bosses that without them, there is no value. Without them, you lose $2 billion fucking dollars. That's it.
And talk about the various streaming companies, who you are actually negotiating with. Name names.
Well, there's Hulu, Peacock, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, a lot of pluses, Netflix and Amazon, I believe, are the big ones.
And explain the position they're taking.
I mean, they're taking the position of rejecting our proposals and refusing to make a counter. With all of our major proposals, that is the feedback that we've gotten thus far. They have forced us to go on strike by not engaging. They sort of have said, we do not care that you all can no longer make a career in this industry. They just want to continue to get as much work out of us for the least amount of money. I think that that's not something that's unique to our industry. It's something that has been happening and will continue to happen. And we're standing up to it. We have to take a stand or there won't be television writers anymore. They will negotiate us out of existence.
And Brittany, explain how the networks are connected to the streaming services. It's not two entirely separate spheres.
Yeah, so the studios all own these services. I mean, they came up with it. Writers didn't come up with these streaming services. They came up with them. That is a large part of the profit that they are now bringing in, and they continue to invest in these services. So, you know, every 3 years, you probably hear these studios crying poor and behaving as if they're like these mom and pop businesses while they rake in billions and billions of profits. But they are the ones who caused this shift, and so they should be responsible for paying the workers that are now providing the product that they continue to turn out and put on these streaming services fairly.
In March, you shared a graph of writers working at MBA minimum. MBA stands for Minimum Basic Agreement. Talk about the problems with compensation in your industry, especially for writers of color like yourself. You also tweeted, our minimum wage has become our ceiling.
Yes, so it used to be that I think 10 years ago, a third of writers were working at that baseline, and now half of all writers are working at that baseline. TV writer pay has fallen 23% when you adjust for inflation. So it's really affecting every writer from staff writer all the way up to showrunners.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. The last time negotiations was before Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones. It's so crazy. People are like, well, content has been bad. Yeah, I mean, some good content came after that as well. So But qualitative assessments are bullshit in this regard because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Whether you like the show or not, doesn't matter. Big Bang Theory is one of the fucking most popular shows in television. You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter. We all make fun of it. Bazinga, you know what I mean? But guess what? Bazinga made a lot of fucking money. So those writers deserve to take a percentage of those fucking profits. Okay? WGA has made a list of demands that will cost $500 million a year across an entire industry. Every studio, every streaming service, every film, every show, every writer, total cost $500 million. I don't agree with that. It might be a little bit, no, I don't think it's only $500 million. The studios can easily afford it. That part is true. It's $469 million. It's on the document. I mean, WGA proposals would gain writers approximately $429 million per year. AMPTP's offer is approximately $86 million per year, 48% of which is from the minimums increase. It doesn't matter how much it costs because they can still fucking pay for it. I assume it would probably be, it seems like that's a conservative estimate. You know what I mean? Having a minimum week of work and hiring a writer in post-production is part of the $500 million. Yeah, I mean, it's wild to consider that, like, it's close to one CEO's salary. Like, it's close to the fucking William Morris Endeavor CEO, Ari Emanuel's salary. It would come from profits. For the AI, they want to regulate the use of artificial intelligence on MBA-covered projects. AI can't write or rewrite literary material. Can't be used as a source material. And MBA-covered material can't be used to train AI. That's a perfectly reasonable fucking thing. They're not saying AI can't work. Okay? Like, they're not saying that, like, writers can't utilize AI. They're saying that studios can't utilize AI to substitute for writers or offer rewrites. Can you imagine getting a rewrite from fucking ChatGPT? Are you insane? I'd lose my fucking mind, dude. Each member of a team gets P&H contributions as if they were writing as an individual. Tentative agreements, script fees for staff writers. They receive script fees on top of their weekly span increase span cap from 400,000 to 450. Basic cable to remain at 375. Extend span protection for writers on limited series. Options and exclusivity increase earnings cap from 325,000 to 350,000. P&H diversion, WGA option to divert 0.5% of negotiated minimums increase to pension or health. So important for Amy for talk about money and profits with respect to the WGA. I just feel like it's the writer's job to create stuff that gets eyeballs, and it's the executive's jobs to turn eyeballs into money. So there's not enough money, then executives should get fired, right? Because the writers are for sure doing their job. Literally all I do is watch TV. We can't hire more people because of math. Okay, so do other math. You went to business school. You're telling me you can't find a business solution? This is such a dumb take, but it's so true at the same time. Like the basic principles behind sentiment like this is totally valid. Whenever someone goes, we're having a hard time justifying revenue on the Twitch platform, that's why we need to do like a 50-50 sub split. I'm like, but your job is to find new ways of doing that. That doesn't harm the workers on the, the ones that are doing the labor on the platform. Like, what do you mean? Like, do the job that you're supposed to be doing. Do the job better. Like, that's crazy. But everyone is so used to just being like, nah, I'm going to show my belly. I'm going to capitulate. You know what I mean? Famous Actors Guild? What? Oh, this guy's writing FAG. Nice one, dude. I thought he was making a joke about, like, actors not being famous or some shit on Twitch. Good one, dude. You got it, dude. Fucking get wrecked. It's so funny because that's a Team America joke. Okay, maybe we'll unban him. But, like, This entire community is gay as fuck and say the F word so liberally. How are you going to fucking flub on a joke? How are you going to fucking flub on a joke that, like, you know, is not landing in a community that loves saying the F word? Anyway, I had a day rate when I worked on SpongeBob. While my day rate was okay, they only had us in the room 1 day a week, and every Friday I would find out if I was coming back or not. I made $14K that year. That's what the studios want. Oh. That's fucking gross. According to the WGA, the negotiating committee, the studios are pushing for a day rate for comedy and variety writers. Truly horrifying. We won't survive something like that. It's similar to how nursing homes and hospitals cry about having trouble finding staff. They only want to give casual or part-time hours and no benefits. No wonder they can't hire or keep people. Yes, that is friend of the show, Josh Androsky. For anyone that wants to do stuff, what the WGA has so far asked for supporters to do: sign your org on to stand with the writers, share the facts in their social media toolkit for your friends and family, follow WGA for updates. 10 years ago, 33% of TV writers were paid minimum. Now half work at minimum. Entertainment segment operating profits in the billions went from $5 billion in profits in 2000 to $28 billion in 2021. It's crazy that the entertainment industry is the last place of labor power in America. WGA, Actors Equity, Screen Actors Guild, IATSE, please support your local theater and artists. I mean, it's not that crazy. It's that and sports. Players unions.
It's a product of this corporate cannibalization, and our decreased, not even just stagnant wages, are making it impossible for anyone to put a career together.
Can you talk about what happens next? I mean, for people who watch TV, the late night shows will now go to tape. You had people like Colbert and others expressing support for the Writers Guild of America. Colbert is a member of the Writers Guild of America, showing pictures of all the writers saying we can't do it without them. So what happens now as you take to the streets, as you take to the picket line today across the country?
Yeah, writers are the backbone of this industry. Nothing gets made without us. And I think that the studios will be in for quite a rude surprise when they realize that though they do not value us or our contributions, they do not have a product without us. We will be at the studios protesting, or not protesting, picketing, and joining each other in solidarity so that we can all go through this as a guild. We are committed to making sure that all of our writers, make it to the other side of this, because we know there will be another side, because we know we're going to win. There is no industry without writers. We are the only generative people in this industry. Everything else is based on what is on that page. And if we're not putting anything on that page, there's nothing that anyone else can do.
Can you talk about the shows that will be affected, or is it everything across the board? And how does this affect the later season, which, of course, is going to put a lot of pressure on the...
Dude. Why is it that they do this every time? Bro, you sign off every day at the same time. I eat every day at the same time. I promise you. If you look back at my stream, okay, you probably come in here at 2 p.m. Pacific, which is when I eat my lunch and only fucking meal that I eat on camera. And you come in here at the same time every day and you go, why is he always eating at the same time? Not realizing that I am a human being. Streams for 8 fucking hours a day. And of course, I'm going to have to eat on camera in that process. Every other streamer does this. I don't assume that they get this much shit. Y'all rocking with eating lunch at lunchtime, dude? It's so dumb. People go crazy. XG barely eats. Bitch, that motherfucker eats his toenails. What do you mean?
producers, the people who are demanding these shows. And what happened with deadlines? Did they move them up to get shows written before the strike?
That was up to each individual writer, how much they were going to deal with people looking to have the materials turned in by yesterday. And a lot of people wanted to turn their stuff in because then, if you complete your assignment, then they have to pay you, even though we'll be on strike, you will have completed your contract. So there was a lot of pressure on writers, and that shows exactly what our labor is worth. When we withhold our labor, people panic. People were scared that there wasn't going to be anything in the pipeline to go out and create, and that's true. We are going to continue to withhold our labor, and that means everything from not taking meetings to not putting anything in that pipeline to not showing up for work. And that means that shows might get delayed. I mean, Abbott Elementary was supposed to go back to the room this week. We are a show that writes while we air. And so if this strike goes on for a significant period of time, our show will not come out on time. And that could change the amount of episodes, which people, I'm sure, will be very upset about. It could change the air date. It could change a lot of different things, because there just will not be things going into that pipeline. There will not be us participating in anything that will bring profit to this industry. And that is going to cause a disruption. That's what we're counting on.
Finally, the 2007 strike, 2007, 2008, went on for 100 days.
100 days,
What did you gain from that strike? What did you accomplish?
So I was not part of that strike. I was, I think, still a teenager at that point. But one of the things that we gained was domain over the internet. That's when all of these streaming services were first popping up, and, YouTube was a thing. And what the studios were saying was that you all should not have any payment for anything that goes online. So, we're used to them saying that we should not have.
Can you imagine? Like, this is what I mean. This is why it makes me so mad when I look at striking workers and people getting mad at them and acting like they're asking for so much. It's always the same shit. It's always the same shit. DVD sales are invented, okay? And then the studios are like, nah, this is our work, actually. We did it all by ourselves. I know it's still your work that we're putting on the DVD, but it's actually my work now, I decided. You know what I mean? It's like, what? What do you mean? I put in work into that. You can't just, what? And then online streaming services come out. And they're like, I made this now. I can just put it on an online streaming service, and it's my work now, actually. I'm just going to keep all the profits. It's like, wait, no. It's the same fucking work. It's the same work. If you're distributing it on other network television shows, or if you're putting it on a fucking DVD, it's still the same work. You retain a piece of those profits.
Hey man, did you make this? This is really funny.
Yeah, I did. I can't believe how many people like it.
I made this.
What?
I made this video.
No.
I
made
this.
I
made
this
this video.
No!
I made this video. This is mine. I created this video. I was the hardest work.
And they pulled the entire series when they're tired of paying residuals, i.e. Westworld. Yeah, there's that too, but
have access to our fair cut of the pie, because they've done it every 3 years for the entirety of the existence of our union. And if we had not made those gains, if we had not gone on.
What did they concede to the writers' just demands and bump subscription prices to avoid management pay cuts and blame the union? Any way to counteract, they agree to shift the blame. They can't do that. They usually can't do that. They'll say it's because of that anyway, but they already started doing that. They already started fucking doing that. Okay? What streamer platform hasn't talked about a pay hike? Or like reducing the number of fucking IPs that can be on it. You know what I mean? Like reducing the number of like TVs that can be on it in the same family program or whatever. They're all doing it anyway. They're going to do that regardless. And then now they're going to blame it on the fucking writers while also not giving the writers any of the fucking profits. That's the point. That's why it's fucking bullshit. A lot of those increases in what you pay for do not happen because of the writers potentially striking. They happen regardless. They happen why? Because they can get away with it. What do I always tell you? Companies will do whatever the fuck they can. Whatever they can get away with, they are going to do. HBO's going up to like $20 a month for 100% ad-free, and they announced that well before the strike. Yep. I'm sick and tired of everybody going, oh, what do you always say? Oh, get nukes. No, that's not what I always say. I have said that. I've said that quite a lot, but that's not the only thing I always say. I say a lot of things over and over again. Okay? I repeat myself quite a bit.
Strike and put our foot down back then, there wouldn't be television writers now. We've already seen, how important it is for us to stand up for ourselves, because could you imagine all of the streaming shows that you know and love, writers not making any money off of those? That was the future that the studios wanted. They want to continue to push us down and bully us. And it's not even a matter of we don't want it to happen. We can't let it happen, or television writers will no longer be a thing. Television staffs will no longer be a thing because no one will be able to afford it.
And before we go, if you can talk about your own show, the amazing Abbott Elementary, about the Philadelphia teachers, the show's...
Okay, Amy Goodman literally loves this show. You can tell. God, she's such a queen. I love her so much. She's my favorite lib, and she's not a liberal. Obviously, she's like far beyond that, but like she does have a lot of lib aesthetic decisions that she makes, and I'll allow it. She's the GOAT. She's the queen. She is my queen. She is such a wonderful, kind soul.
His first season was nominated for 7 primetime Emmys, winning 3. Why it is so important to see shows like yours, Brittany?
I think that, right now, a lot of workers are feeling really downtrodden. I mean,
have you ever watched Abbott Elementary? I have not.
I think that, the issues that we're facing are rampant all across this country. And a show like Abbott, where you're seeing, working class people trying to do their best, it's a show where you can get some form of relief, some form of release. That's important. People want to be able to enjoy the time off that they have from performing labor. And we're lucky enough that our labor is what allows people to do that. And we want to get back to doing that. We want to get back to providing people an outlet, letting people have something to enjoy.
Supreme Chancellor Andy, thank you for the 30.
Joy and have something to look forward to.
Brittany Nichols, want to thank you for being...
I'll be honest with you, okay? What is this? What do I always say? Be charitable. All cops lie. 30% of Americans can agree on anything. Bias wants to be confirmed. Whoever has more stickers on their car is more mentally ill. Every guy can be a 7. Islam is not a monolith. Find nukes. Okay, those are all things I say all the time. You actually nailed a bunch of them. Confidence is like a muscle. There's another one. Confidence is like a muscle. You just got to build it like a muscle. Everyone's a lib. What if it's cool anime stickers? Fuck you mean it's even worse. By the way, I want to say something here. Behind me is a beautiful, wonderful darling who I cherish. Why am I saying such positive things about her right now? You want to know why I'm saying such positive things about her right now? Because she hasn't been fucking crying for the past couple of hours. And contrary to popular opinion, it's not when she's crying that it's the hardest to raise her. It's when she's being super cute. Because I know that if I were to go over there, I can't stop myself right now. I'm probably going to inevitably go over there and, pet her belly and play with her a little bit because it's irresistible. I know for a fact that the moment after I do that, she is going to become a fucking demon. So contrary to popular belief, the hardest part of raising this dog is in her cutest moments, because I know I cannot right now play with her at all. Okay? I can't. Because if I do, she is going to get the zoomies and become a fucking demon. 50% demon, 50% sleep dog? Yes. Oh. How can you tell she's awake? No, she's not awake. She's 100% sleeping. You would know if she was awake.